right, live from Las Vegas.
And Stone Mountain, Georgia.
We want to welcome our special guests here, Daniel and Janet from Two Doctors Homestead. We want to bring them on here to sort of give them let them tell their story about how we met, how they started their homestead, and how come they joined keto or started a keto lifestyle, or part of it. Doesn't matter. So I want to welcome you in. Janet, you want to kick it off?
Thank you, sir. Well, I started keto 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm following behind.
Yeah, I mean,
on starting
he's doing
keto.
the best he can.
I'm doing what I can. Yeah. I mean, when Janet started keto, we still had a refrigerator full of non-keto foods that we're just not going to throw all that away. So we're kind of, I'm kind of traggling along behind doing the keto with her.
Right. And and I keep telling him you don't have to do it.
Right.
It's okay.
She's trying to talk me out of it. She's trying to talk me out of it.
Maybe I just want to live vicariously through you.
Right.
I don't know.
And it's, everybody's got this stigma that, or you can't have this, or you can't do that. It took me 40 years to get to the shape I was in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to happen overnight. The whole idea is to make you feel better. Mike lost over 100 pounds.
That's good.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I started, actually, my doctor, my primary care physician last year said, it's time for you to get some of this weight off. And, I was 50 pounds thinner 2 years ago before I had my heart attack. So, I was always in real good shape, but I did smoke cigarettes. So he's, bless you.
God bless you.
Ugh.
So he said, try keto. And I left there and I was like, I don't know. Because he had so much. Well, I was already low fat, low cholesterol, low sodium. I'm like, how much else is this guy putting
Right.
on
How do you give up sugar and carbs?
Sugar and carbs.
On top of everything else.
I'll just eat a salad leaf every day and give their way to nothing,
Yeah, can they induce coma?
Right.
Yeah. What else?
Right.
Yeah. What do you recommend I eat?
So let's do this the easy way. Just knock me out, wake me up a year later.
Yeah.
Put me on an IV.
Yeah.
So I started it because honestly, I started seeing you guys' shows and I'm like, maybe it's not as foreign as I thought. At first I thought it was just a bunch of bacon and eggs. And I thought, everybody's talking about macros all the time. I don't want to be obsessed about food and counting macros and, and then you had said it doesn't need to be difficult. It should just be easy.
I mean, it came from that guy right there when he turned around and said, if you're making it difficult, you're making it difficult.
Right.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
If it's hard, it's your fault.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, I downloaded this little app and I was like, oh man,
She was
I guess
tracking the macros.
I gotta do all these macros. And I'm like, I don't even want to count how many years of college. I don't need to write a dissertation on macros for my day's food. And that's what it felt like.
Right.
And I go the other way with it. I'm coming from the restaurant business. We were always taught starch, protein, some kind of vegetable, dessert, push the breads, push the desserts, and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like I was kind of culpable with it too, but I was always tasting.
Right.
So,
oh yeah, you got to taste your food.
So when they turn around and the doctor tells you, well, you better watch that high fat content. Oh yeah, you have to, because guess why? Because you're doubling, tripling up on the carbs and on the sugar. Mm-hmm. So fat's going to go right to fat. I mean, it's not going to break down. So when I sort of learned the switch, I said, wow, it really.
Yeah, you do high fat, high carb, you're going to put on weight.
Yeah.
You do low carb, high fat, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah, Squib loves you for that too, by the way. Squib and Pfizer love you for that.
Well, it's been 6 weeks, I think, 7 weeks that I've been doing it.
Yeah.
The most important thing is my blood glucose is down.
Right.
What actually put me over the edge was I had to have a colonoscopy just because, I'm in that magic age.
Right.
And I had to stop taking my Giardians, which is also a diabetes med, but it's used for my heart failure. So I was worried because I thought to myself, this stuff is pushing extra glucose out of me all the time. What happens if my sugar's actually high? Because I'm on a statin, which raises your blood sugar. I'm on a diuretic, which raises your blood sugar. So I started watching my blood sugar when I had to pull back on my Giardians. And oh boy, that thing was close to 200 fasting.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling Mike that now I'm going on my third year. We figured it out on and off, but I'm just 2 years now, pretty strict. Going into my second year, pretty strict with it. And I don't mean strict in the sense of I can't have this or not. I'm not hungry. I got myself to the point where I just eat once a day,
Yeah.
and then I had to open my big mouth about doing this chaffle challenge.
So chaffle say challenge.
And being that Monday's our anniversary, so we got married on Friday the 13th. Okay?
Oh, nice,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, well, we've been lucky, and and then Valentine's Day, and then the challenge, and this will video will be up on that anyway. So I made chocolate chaffles, okay, with no sugar. I added monk fruit, and there again, I need to stick with a big shoe on the end of it so I can kick myself
Just over the back. I recommend.
I can't tolerate monk fruit, and I only use a half a teaspoon.
Oh, and it spikes your blood sugar.
And I put some Lily's chocolate moss in. I don't care what anybody says, right, Mike? There's sugar in it.
Yeah,
they just don't show it.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple strawberries and blueberries. And I tell you what, not good for the old guy here.
Yeah.
I can't do fruit anymore at all.
Right.
Fruit just sends my glucose up way too high.
Yeah.
So I've just been focusing on, all no fruit at all. And, 6 weeks, the best thing is my fasting blood sugars got down to 100 to 110, which is great.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, Janet, in my eyes, okay, move on.
Right.
Move on. Don't do what you're doing, but experiment with little different things. Then you can see which way it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The health aspect of it is more important than looking at the scale. Okay?
Right, because I lost 10 pounds, and I lost 10 pounds really quick because I carry a lot of water on me, even with the diuretic.
Yeah.
But when I cut those carbs out, with the diuretic, you live in the bathroom, but you really live in the bathroom when you go low carb, because you're just, I saw my ankles again for the first time in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I was wearing medical compression socks, but it's really the cutting the carbs out just kind of lets your kidneys do what they need to do and flush out all of that extra water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about, Mike? What do you think about with salt and stuff like that? Going through that.
If with the salt, I don't have that little girl with the umbrella. I don't touch that stuff. No, that ain't salt. That's poison.
Right.
And now people say, but you need the iodine. I'll find it other places.
Yeah.
I'll get it from elsewhere. But the Himalayan pink salt, or you get or kosher salt or something like that, where they don't process the salt, I'm all for it. Doctors have told me I had high blood pressure, and they said stay away from salt. And I said back then I didn't touch salt. I would not touch it. And they were telling me stay away from salt, no added salt. I said, well, I don't do added salt now. And I add salt to my food now all the time, but it's the Himalayan pink salt, or it's kosher salt, or something like that. I don't that other stuff. Or they found this unicorn salt. Also, it's just pure salt. They don't do a thing.
It's not like rainbow colored.
Right.
I feel like unicorn salt would be rainbow colored.
Right, and that stuff's great too, and it has not been processed. So I'm good with that.
I heard something that was kind of odd to me, but then looking into it a little bit more, I do a little bit of research. I'm the older I get, I'm starting to have trust issues with are authorities, would want to say, in the medical field and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be
We
your
all,
own
I think, are
advocate.
nowadays.
Yeah, you got to be on your own.
Yeah.
You know, look at things in a different light, I guess. But I heard when you have a sugar craving, that means your body needs salt.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how, you know, as far as a scientist or anything like that, breaking that down, I don't know about that. But I come to find it to be true that I don't have any more sugar cravings. I don't crave bread. Okay, I sort of got my mind to the point where I do other things. Okay, I'm an Irishman, so I have a hard time giving up the potatoes. Okay, I'm married to an Italian.
It's
Hard
in
to
your
give up
blood.
the pasta and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
So, but it's just like, goes hand in hand. But sometimes you can't hold hands all the time. You got to let it go.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I try to do it in a different light as far as making different items a new way. That's
Right.
basically how I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
I was having a difficult time at the beginning.
She was.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
she was.
I mean, I quit. I smoked for 30 years. Smoked
Yeah.
cigarettes. I quit the day that I had my
the
heart attack.
Yeah.
I think quitting sugar is just as hard as quitting cigarettes.
It is.
Yeah.
Sugar is highly addictive.
Yeah.
No.
It's highly addictive. Yeah, giving that up, man.
I smoked five.
I applaud you for quitting like that cold turkey. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
But I was smoking 5 packs a day.
That's a lot.
Being in business and stuff like that, just constantly bang, bang,
Yeah,
bang, bang,
yeah.
bang.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it up. 3 months later, I was diagnosed with bladder cancer
Yeah.
because of cigarette smoke. So, your body, listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you exactly what you need to do.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's why I have a hard time when people say, "Oh, it's too hard to do." Yeah.
You got to want to do it.
You have to want it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
have
have
to
to
wanna
want
do
to
it.
do it. And
Yeah.
when you get a result like the drop in blood sugar, and I was actually feeling better, I wasn't having constant headaches, I wasn't tired all the time.
Yeah.
My need to drink constantly was gone. I mean, I would put a fork in my mouth, and the moment I'd swallow that first bite, I was reaching for something to drink, and I had to drink the entire time
Yeah.
through my meal. I
Yeah.
felt like I needed it, and I don't have that anymore now that my blood sugar's dropped.
Yeah.
So I do feel better.
That's the main thing. I mean, there again, like Mike says, okay, you can take things to the extreme, okay, or you can just roll with it.
Mhm.
There's nobody can knock on your door and say, "Keto, police."
Right.
You're doing it wrong, sir. You're
We're
doing
taking
it
your
wrong.
keto
Oh,
card.
Yeah, we actually, so we had a bread maker, and we put the bread maker away in the cabinet in the garage, and we had an ice cream maker from a couple years ago.
Brought that out.
So we got the ice cream maker out, cleaned it up, and we're experimenting with, kind of keto ice creams where you can make ice cream without any sugar or anything like that.
Yeah,
So you
I
put
mean,
heavy cream in, and we're like, hey, what can we
And some
add?
egg yolks and some
Yes.
extract.
Right. What can we put in it that's
Yeah.
not going to be super sugar, but you can still have a little ice cream, right? So
Yes.
we're just kind of experimenting with some of the stuff like that.
Mhm.
Well, I tell people, I say, look, if counting the macros and doing all that stuff, that helps you, and you can stay on track and all that way, I say by all means go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're just stressed out overdoing it, and you're like, man, this is too much like
That makes
work,
sense. Yeah.
why are you doing that? Because
Right.
just stay away from the carb stuff, like the breads, the sugars, the potatoes, the rice, the
Mhm.
beans, the pasta, whatever. Stay away from all that stuff. Don't touch it. Just worry about eating whole foods. Get your vegetables, get your protein. And I said, because let's face it, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the salads, the seasonings, all of those things, that's not what made you fat.
Right. Yeah, I gained 50 pounds from broccoli.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of broccoli.
I want to see them broccoli.
Right.
Right.
I dip them in steak. So
Yeah.
I dip it in steak.
Exactly.
I see. What I do is I've learned getting older now. Just I step out of the circle. You
Yeah.
get caught up in that circle. I step out of the circle and see what's
Mhm.
going on with what we're doing. Okay,
Yeah.
Marie has nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing. Doesn't have to be
Just a
doing.
strong Italian woman.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Right.
Exactly.
Conquer the world.
Yeah, so it makes you stop and think about really, possibly really that bad? The sweet, the cannolis are they bad? You know what I mean?
Cannolis are not bad. No.
But for, like in the movie, I said I had no problem taking the cannolis and leaving the gun. I have no problem with that.
Right.
But in the same token, though, she was gaining weight. Okay, and now that she cut most of that stuff out, now she dabbles here and there with it, and there's no
Yeah.
problem. But she lost 51 pounds
That's
Nice.
good. Yeah.
in a couple years. That feels much better. She goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Well, I'm going to put you on thyroid medicine." You meant nope, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you're not. No.
There's
Yeah.
so many side effects with stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
switching gears a little bit.
Yes, sir.
How did you get started in with homesteading and what you do?
Mm.
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll
you
jump.
go for
I'll
that.
jump in on that. Yeah. So I would say, in our transition down to where we're at, but I could probably go further back historically, like Tarantino went back,
Sure.
like to the beginning. But in terms of when we moved to where we're at now, we were living in the suburbs of Chicago, South Side Chicago. I was
Yeah.
working in the Loop, downtown Chicago. And the winters up there suck. Now Janet's from Chicago. I was not from there, but I think I did 6-7 years, something
So the
like
extra
that.
special were
The winters up there are
disappointing to
horrible.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's 8 months of winter, 8 months of winter, and it
Wow.
can get into -40 wind chill, and that is cold. And since I worked in the Loop, I would have to take, Janet would drop me off at the train station. I'd take the train into downtown. And then you got to walk, right? Because I wasn't paying a
Mhm.
taxi every day. Nobody's doing that, right? You walk, and it could be, I don't know, half-mile walk to the office, because downtown Chicago is huge. The Loop is huge. So you're walking in -40, and it's so cold. I mean, it's freezing cold. I got pictures of me with all the ski mask and the hoods and the layers of jackets. But like, as the train's pulling into the station, everybody's bundling up because we're all about to step out of the train,
Right.
and it's -40 out there. So it literally, like, it's being in a locker room.
It's like
Everyone's
the
banging
tundra.
into each other, putting all their crap on, and your
Sir,
goggles on.
Wow.
Sir, did you get a description of the man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Everyone, it's
Yeah.
just like you're banging into people, and people are putting all their stuff on. And I think for a couple years before we came down here, we were talking about it, right?
Well, I know I had always wanted to move to Texas because
Yeah.
my sisters
She's got
had
her
moved
sisters are here.
here in the 90s.
Right,
So I came to visit, and I always wanted to come
Yeah,
down.
my parents are here and my brother's here.
Yeah.
So we both had family here, and we were talking about it. And finally it was like, okay, life has to line up, like, to do a big move like that. And finally all the stars had lined up. I'm like, okay. I'm pretty sure it was in the middle of winter time. I'm like, I'm going to start looking for work.
Yeah.
Because to me, I've moved between states. I've lived in now 4 major states, probably 8 major cities. And I found if you're going to jump, whether it's another city or another state, step one is find a job there, right? It's going to be step one. If you've got
Yeah.
a job, everything else can kind of fall in line.
Mhm.
So I started looking for work, and I was getting online and hitting the websites and setting the resumes and doing the interviews. And finally one clicked, right? And I got a job down here. I'll say north of Dallas. We don't obviously want to give away our street address or anything.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
found the job north of Dallas, and like, okay, we got the job. Now we got to figure out where we're going to live, right? And we wanted some land. We wanted to get out of the suburbs, get into a
Mhm.
more country environment. And I've lived in more country environments before. So when I was in Chicago, my commute was about an hour and a half, right? And that's Janet driving me the train, riding the train, walking to work. Is about an hour and a half each way. So I said, okay, I'll do an hour and a half, right? I'm used to an hour and a half. That's just my life. I'll do an hour and a half. So once I had my address of where I work, we got on and we literally drew a circle around that and said, this is within an hour and a half. And what we did is we got online. I got on the driving, the maps, right? Google Maps during
Mhm.
commute time. Said, okay, if I'm driving from this town, how long is it? If I'm
Mhm.
driving from this town, how long is it? and you start getting your little points on the map and said, okay, that's it. That's we have to live within there. Otherwise, I'm just going to go mad. Like if I'm driving 2+ hours a day each way, I'm just going to lose my mind.
But it
Can't
had
do
to be on a minimum of 1 acre.
Yeah, we had 1 acre minimum.
We had 1 to 10 acres.
Right.
Is what we wanted.
Yeah, and Jen has 2 daughters, and they were living with us at the time, so we had a certain number of bedrooms we wanted. And usually, you can get more land if you want a smaller house, but we weren't really going for the small house. So we had a lot of criteria.
We needed 4 bedrooms.
And I came down for work, and Janet stayed back in Illinois, and she was trying to sell the house. And at the time, which was 2017, when we came down here, the real estate market you will call it the DFW area, is normally what people call it in North Texas, was insane. And it may still be, I don't know. But whenever we'd find a house we liked, it would be gone by the next day. Stuff was selling in a day. It was gone. Wow. So we ended up, we're like running out of runway here. We need to buy a house so she can come down.
Because our house was sold.
Yeah, our house was sold at this point. Like, we need to buy a house. So we fired our real estate agent, hired another real estate agent, said, we've got a plane ticket. Janet's flying down Saturday. We need to have houses to see, right? Show us something. And we found a house, saw pictures of it. And me and Janet were talking like, okay, so this is maybe like Wednesday or something. We're talking, she's coming down Saturday. I'm like, you know what? I'll go Friday after work. If it's anything like the pictures, I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to buy the house. When you come down Saturday, you can sign the papers, right? Because it was just going so fast. So in a lot of ways, I say we didn't pick this place. It was like literally the only one. We're happy with it. We love the house.
Yeah, I love the house.
We love where we're at. But it's just kind of maybe fate or coincidence or whatever you want to call it. This was just the only place that was available at the time.
Wow. So how much land did you end up with?
We're just under 2 acres.
Okay, that's a manageable size.
Yeah, it's totally manageable, right? And that's the big thing. Like, I have
they're
a friend.
Usable acres.
Yeah, they're completely usable acres.
A lot of the place we saw, it was 10 acres. Like
10 acres,
pictures you'd see, but it was all 10 acres wooded. And
oh yeah, you can't do much with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a vacant lot behind us that we'd love to buy, and we keep hanging out agents like, hey, you think someone would sell that? Because that would give us some more land. And honestly, a couple more acres, and we'd probably have a dozen pigs or a cow or something running back there. So we'd love to get more land. We're not interested in moving. Like, we've spent so much time just since 2017, building and digging in, really, right?
Oh, yeah.
Place. We're not looking to move. So that kind of started it, right? Was we got the land, we got the place, we cleared out like a forest. Like half the backyard was kind of this weird kind of cottonwood tree forest that Janet didn't want. Yeah. So we cleared that out
cottonwood
entirely.
Trees aren't good for anything.
Right. Cleared that out.
On your house.
Yeah. We fenced it. We fence up. We just started building and digging in. But we both wanted this, for a long time. So I
don't think I knew what I was getting into.
She probably did.
Absolutely not. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I would never in a million years have believed that I would have chicken poop on my shoes and not have a problem.
not care. She was the high heel business suit girl.
Yeah.
We had 17 acres in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair amount of land.
And an old shotgun shack, which means you open the front door, you shoot a shotgun through, clear through the back door, and not hit anybody. And thank God Marie grew up on a small farm because she knew what was going on.
Yeah,
I was like Janet, hey, how you doing?
Right, exactly.
in the restaurant business and stuff. But I totally get what you're doing.
Yeah, so we just started building it out, building the garden, and we added the pigs, and we got the chickens and turkeys, and we're doing some more projects.
The first time I saw chickens, they scared.
She did. She's like, don't. I don't like that. I don't like those.
He's like, just and they were baby
like,
chicks.
I don't like those.
And he's like, touch them. I'm like,
no. Yeah. Now she loves them. She keeps incubating them. Yeah.
I just keep incubating chickens.
She loves the chickens now.
Giving little kissies.
Yeah.
Making their little noises, and they all stop and look at me and talk back.
What do you want me to do with that?
See, that's exactly what attracted me to your channel, because I sort of went through that transition. Let's put it that way. Okay. Mike grew up, in the South, surrounded by that stuff.
Yeah. I'm a country boy. I grew up in the country. And
Yeah.
I'm the worst. I'm the opposite of y'all. I live in the city now. But
Yeah. I couldn't
mean,
do it. I wouldn't want to, at least. I
you
could.
grew up-
Obviously,
well,
you can do a
I'm
lot of
actually
stuff.
in it's the suburbs, but it's Metro Atlanta still.
Yeah.
Right.
But what attracted me to
Yeah.
your channel is that when you were talking about the pigs, and I watched you with your pigs, and then the last part of it is when you opened up your freezer door.
Yeah.
Not everybody understands where their food comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that to me was a big deal, especially with the eggs and I like the way you set up your coop and stuff like that with the solar, everything to make life easier for you, just in case something goes wrong,
Yeah.
or to that point. Let's put it that way.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And and I said, see, I said, I like that because oh, look at a little piggy. Let's go have a pork chop. They don't put the two together.
They don't get it.
Oh
yeah.
man, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
kiss my
yeah.
pigs.
She
I
loves
lay
her
on the
pigs.
ground with my pigs.
see.
I give them belly rubs. I mean,
Yeah.
my family will come over and I'll be like, lay down, girl, let me massage your bacon. And they're like, Dad, why are you saying that?
'Cause
I'm
it's
like, I'm
gonna be
just
bacon.
tenderizing the bacon.
Right,
She's
right.
got a good belly.
Yeah. She's the Italian. I've got the Irish background like you do. So she's like, yeah, no, kill that one.
Yeah,
And then I've got to do it. I got to
put the outfit on though, put the hat on.
Right. It's in the jeans. I got to do it.
Right. I can put the hit out, but I don't do it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't do it. That's what we need the Irishman
Right.
for.
She's like, we're going to eat that one now. Okay. I'll really deal with that.
Yep.
Right.
And,
I got the Scots Irish in me, so
Yeah.
I mean the whole idea of different channel. I try not to be a phony with anything as far as what we do or how we do it. Okay, I have a balcony that we're not allowed to cook anything, or no open flames. let's put it
Oh,
that way.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I have electric smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is, and you guys also got me into about drying stuff up,
Yeah. The dehydrating.
dehydrating.
Mhm.
So I'm using my smoker right now just to dry with.
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. You totally can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to dive and buy. There'll be a hit put out on me if I have to buy another appliance to put in the house here.
Right. I get that. Yeah.
Should be
She's
called
got
a
an
bike.
uncle. She had
I
an uncle that'll do
understand.
that.
So
I've been warned with sleeping outdoors if I bring another appliance.
So I guess what I'm saying, old habits die hard, because our balcony now has all little cups and Marie, when she was growing stuff in the garden, we grew everything, and she started everything from seed. I mean, everything. Had built her little greenhouse, the whole bit. So getting into that side of it, and then doing what we're doing now, as far as watching what we eat and everything like that, it's going to be one cherry tomato is not going to sustain us for a while.
Of course.
But I mean, it's that idea of we know where it's coming from. You know what I mean?
Right. Try to be a little more self-sufficient. And really, that's what we're trying to do. Like, we didn't come down here saying, hey, we're going to start a homestead and a YouTube channel. We just wanted to kind of start being a little more self-sufficient, and really the YouTube thing is really just the last 6 months. I didn't realize there were so many homestead channels. Like, we weren't even big watching YouTube. We might have gone a different direction. I don't know. There's so many.
I didn't watch YouTube.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, wow, there's like 600 of these channels. This is nuts. Competition wise, but we're just doing it for fun. Like, it
Well,
wasn't.
you're always been a little bit of a prepper.
Right. I've always been a prepper. No,
He's
that's been
always
my
been a
whole
prepper.
life. Yeah, I've always been a prepper. Yeah, and
Well, you have
we
to
did
be
this
to
to do
survive.
this. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I got my never give up shirt on because you
Exactly.
absolutely never give up.
And people think about it. Being a prepper, that gets a bad name.
It does.
They say, "Oh, you're one of those doomsday." No, that's one form of prepping.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a ton of ways you can be a prepper.
Absolutely.
And-
Like
and-
I say, I was a Boy Scout. You can be prepared, and that's not a crazy person, right? You're just a boy. I just
No.
like to be prepared for stuff.
It makes more sense to know exactly what's going on, because now, not for nothing. Hey, that's a channel, isn't it? Not for nothing. But not for nothing. The other day, there was lines wrapped around Las Vegas because of an oil leak or gas
Yeah.
Oh
leak.
wow.
Yeah.
People looking to get gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep a
see what I'm
5-gallon
saying?
gas can. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I get
yeah.
it. Absolutely.
So I mean that quick. I'm my big thing right now is eggs. Not that I eat a lot of eggs or I use a lot of eggs, but I like to have them on hand, whatever. And the
Yeah.
price of eggs now, anywhere in the
It's
stores out
nuts.
here in Las Vegas, you can't find any eggs
Yeah.
Wow.
unless they're organic.
Yeah,
Right.
if only you
Right.
lived closer. I
Oh
get
my God, we
3
get so
dozen
many
a
eggs. We
day.
get so many eggs. We give
Wow.
them away. We feed them to the dogs. We eat them. We feed them back to the chickens. I mean, we have more eggs than we
When
know
we
what to
have
do with
pigs, I
right
feed
now.
them to the pigs.
Yeah, the pigs when they were here. I mean, Janet will literally she'll cook up like 20 dozen eggs at a time
Yeah.
to
Wow.
give out to the animals.
But I give them back to the chickens because
Right.
the idea of that is they're producing it. It
Yeah.
gives them back what they've produced.
Right. It gives them back
Right
the
now,
proteins and stuff.
They need
yeah.
that. The best protein they can get is
Yeah.
from that egg white.
It's not going to waste. That's for sure.
That's making it that's making your homestead self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
You
a
know?
little bit closer. Right. Just a little
Right.
bit closer. Yeah.
And I
When
love
we-
animals, so it's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
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 When we lived in North Carolina, we would exchange eggs, and I would give them produce. And at the time back then, because I had the bladder cancer, I was doing juicing. I was
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You haven't lived until you had a glass
I've never
of-
juiced, but that was the thing. That was a big thing.
yeah, but you haven't lived until you juice collard greens.
Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like collard greens, but they gotta have ham hock in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the pot liquor.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, come to find out, I mean, it was okay, but most of the things that I was juicing, I beet, green apples, and carrots. Worst thing for a
Right.
diabetic, and I
Yeah.
was diagnosed being diabetic from the treatment I was getting for the bladder cancer.
Right.
So
Is
so
your
it was
heart
like-
okay though since the treatment for the bladder cancer?
yeah, I had issues with that also,
Okay.
and
'Cause I know
then
chemo can be real hard on your heart.
yeah, and then that's when we left North Carolina and went down to Florida. That's when things took a turn for the worse for me, is because it was like you were a number. I went
Mhm.
in for the stress test. Being I was taking diabetic medication already from North Carolina because of the treatment. Now I did the stress test. I had a 35% blockage, and they put a stent in. Not supposed to do until after 65.
Yeah, it's usually 60 or above, but
Yeah.
So now I'm on a medication now that costs, I think it's my donut hole's like $430 a month
Ouch.
a
for
blood
one pill.
thinner
For Eliquis, it's called.
for one stent.
Yeah.
Wow. See, now I have 3 stents. I have 3 stents,
Yeah.
and they put me on Brilinta for 1 year, and then I went off of it, and that's
Well,
it.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
Yeah.
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 I just had surgery. I had a cyst removed from my chest here, and the doctor says, "Why are you taking this pill?"
Yeah, that's a long time to be
It's
on
usually
a
just a year
From 24 to 15.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
a
a
year.
long time.
because it just your body needs time for it to heal,
Right.
Yeah.
and then you're
Yeah.
supposed to be able to
It's-
get off that.
Yeah,
stuff.
the way they explained it to me is it helps your body not reject the scent,
Yeah.
and so it keeps it thin, so you don't clot again, and
Right.
you don't get restenosis from it.
Yeah,
But
plus
once past
Plus,
that,
I was on two other blood thinners and metoprolol, I think which is like,
Metroprolol.
yeah, which is
I
one of
hate
the
that
worst
stuff.
I got all. I told him, if
I'm
went
on
into-
it. I take it at night.
Yeah.
I have 18 pills. Any heart pill anybody's been on.
if I went into
I'm on-
shave, okay,
Wow.
I would
Yeah.
actually start bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm off all that stuff. I take one for that, and I take that one heart medication and one medication for the diabetes. So I went from 12 to 3.
That's
That's
good.
good. That's
So
good.
this,
Yeah.
That's
this
really
thing
good.
works. Just watching what you eat and low carb and no sugar actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for y'all. Y'all are PhDs, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's your field in?
So I've got organizational management, IT management, and then Janet's organizational management.
Okay.
Still business
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Business
Yeah. I
management.
had an MBA and then I got my PhD.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
There we go. My
So
wife
not
says I have.
MDs. Yeah.
My
Wow.
wife says I have a PhD in arguing, but
You might. You might.
My PhD is just, it's short for piled higher and deeper.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you guys see? Like the future coming up as far as with the homestead and anything different? I mean, different things you're going to grow or raise or try
Yeah,
to-
we got a lot. I
We're
think
bringing
a lot of
turkeys
plans.
back.
Right, we're bringing turkeys back. I actually did a video earlier today. We haven't uploaded yet because we were uploading a different video, and our internet is horrible out here.
Yeah, I can
It's just
imagine.
horrible internet. So, like, it'll take all day to upload a video.
Wow.
That's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, even a 30-minute video takes like all day to upload. But so one of the things we talked about, Janet loves turkeys. She loves turkeys, and we raised turkeys a couple years ago, and we did it for the meat. So we raised them, and we actually had one. It was a male turkey. I don't know, 40 pounds or something.
Yeah,
There's
they were
pictures out there.
broad-breasted bronze.
And we
so-
timed it all out so that we raised it and we butchered it. And turkeys, the big birds have to go through rigor, so it went through rigor.
Yep.
And then we threw it right in the oven for Thanksgiving. So
Wow.
fresh, never frozen turkey. We had to have every day planned out.
Yeah, we did
So
the
that
tom.
on
He
the
was-
day, on the day,
He was about
it
40
went in the
pounds.
oven for Thanksgiving. So never frozen, very fresh, super yummy, great tasting
Man.
turkey.
He was done in under 2 hours.
Yeah, it
Holy
was great
smokes.
turkey.
Nothing better than
Now
fresh,
we
man.
want to just kind of keep turkeys. We're not going to necessarily do these for Thanksgiving. So I'm working on this. I got a video of the drawing I did building. We're going to build a turkey coop. Yeah, I don't know what else to call it, but it's going to be
Mhm.
12 by 20. It's going to have an inside area and then
Mhm.
kind of a covered run. And we're going to throw turkeys in there and just let Janet have turkeys.
Well, I want to have a tom
Yeah.
and a couple hens,
Right.
and then
Okay.
let them, sit on a clutch, and then we'll have whatever they produce, and we'll put it in the freezer.
Right. So
But
if
we'll
they,
have
if they
that
make
as like our
babies,
breeding stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to do some turkeys. That's like our next project. There's a couple other projects I want to do, but something like that. Like I'll plan them all out, but I don't know how long it's going to take to build the turkey coop. So that's like my big one. I'd like to do a greenhouse for all sorts of reasons. I mean, we could be growing a lot of vegetables in the greenhouse. Depending on how big I get, I could put some little
Mhm.
lemon trees in the greenhouse.
Mhm.
My son is actually going to school. One of his things is learning about aquaponics.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I wanted to build an aquaponics system in the greenhouse, and I wanted to do that. So I might be making the project so big that I don't get to it.
I
But
told him, and just gotta take one
just got to
step.
get into it. But I want to
Yeah.
do
Just
a
let it
greenhouse
go.
with a fish pond and maybe a couple little small trees. So kind of a good sized greenhouse.
I had built a 10 by 10 greenhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. And for what we grew everything. I actually
Yeah.
grew peanuts also.
Oh, nice,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah. I tried my hand at that, and we boiled them. I made a rotisserie to roast them and stuff like that. We tried stuff that we never thought we could do. Asparagus was my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. But that took a couple years for it to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I sort of, so I'm reliving my past through you guys watching
Sure,
what you're
sure.
doing. You know what I mean? And Janet, you have show chickens.
She
I do,
does. She
yeah.
does. Yeah. You got to talk about
Yeah.
your chickens.
I have a show line of Brahmas that are like Brahmas, and I also have some buff Brahmas, which are brown Brahmas, and they're not quite to the standard of perfection, but they're enough that I could breed my lights with my buffs. And so I have what is called a color project that I've been working on the genetics, and we're about 4 phases into it. And I finally, on this hatch, got what it would be considered splits, which is half of the babies come out white and half of the babies come out buff. And what I need,
Oh, wow.
what I need is those buffs then to start my line of buff Brahmas, because the buff Brahmas I have are big Brahmas. They're, in the mid 1800s, the Brahma was the table bird that you had. It wasn't
Yes.
these big, crosses, Cornish
Mhm.
crosses.
Right.
And the line that I have goes back to that. So my boys are close to 20 pounds, where a normal Brahma right now is about 12.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
females are, about 13 to 14 pounds.
And we found a guy at the fair. that had the jumbo Brahmas, and we
He
bought a
did.
rooster from him, or we bought 2
I
roosters.
bought
from
2
him.
roosters from him, and then me and him,
And that,
you know, got to talking, and he wants me to make these buff Brahmas because
he wants one.
there's nobody showing buff Brahmas in
Right.
Texas
Right.
at the jumbo line of what goes back to the
Yeah, because
1800s.
he does all the shows and he wins. He wins shows. And we
Um,
kind of had this gentleman's agreement. He would sell us the roosters, but he didn't want to compete against his own stock. And we're like, dude, we're
Right.
not chicken show people. She just likes to have
yeah.
Sure.
the animals, like the dogs. I think Coco is in the other room. She was a show dog and then she retired. So we just,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, like we want to have those kind of
Honestly, it was
animals.
just fate. We had gone to a trades days in our county, and I just said, there's a chicken trades days in the county this
Yeah.
weekend, and I really want to go. I didn't need any more chickens.
Right.
I wasn't even looking to add to the flock. I just wanted to go see chickens.
Mhm.
And we get there.
You
and
might learn something.
Yeah.
Right.
And we get there and we're walking around, and he says in 10 minutes in, you can have a rooster if you want it. And I'm like, what? I can,
What?
I can have a rooster? Like, I have
All right.
not had a rooster.
Yeah.
So this was
Wow.
serious business.
Yeah.
I walked
Sure.
around the whole place and looked at all the roosters. And I have always loved my lady Brahmas. And I feel like there was a couple different Brahmas that were there, but this one Brahma, every time I went past his cage, he stuck his little beak out and he would watch me go back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get him.
That's the one.
So when the guy reached into the cage, I was like, no, I don't want him on the front. I want that one in the back. He's been watching me for the past hour,
Right.
pass him by, and he was the sweetest chicken.
Yeah.
He didn't make it past this summer because the heat got up to like 114. He had passed away, but I tattooed him on my arm
All right. She's got the
Yeah,
tattoo.
because I love
Yeah.
him so much.
Yeah.
He's such a sweet boy.
Yeah.
But and that happened to be the show breed of Brahmas that I picked up
Right.
and began a relationship with this guy. And now, I can't show them because I can't do that. With my heart failure, I can't be shampooing birds. You have to
Yeah, right.
shampoo and
It's a
blow
lot of
dry.
work. And we're not,
and
that's not what we're in it for. We're not in it
this
for
kid
that.
can do it. I'm just I'm gonna do the project, and I'm just gonna give it over to him and his
Right.
friends,
We'll give him
and
one
let
if he
them take the
wants.
lineage
Yeah,
where
like,
they
how
want
many
it.
do you want, dude? Because
Yeah,
at that point, you've got your sunk costs. Like, we've already built the coop. We don't expect to get the money back. So it doesn't really cost us anything. Like, we can run the incubator anytime with 20 eggs and get maybe 10 chickens. Well, it costs us 20 eggs and a little bit of electricity. So it doesn't cost us
Right.
anything to make the dude. Like, how many chickens do you want? 20 chickens? Do you want 50 chickens?
Right, and they said
How many chickens do you want?
they're
Because they don't
like,
really
well,
cost me anything.
they said we'll buy it from you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't have to. I mean,
Right.
you're doing this because you want to continue
Yeah.
this breed, this piece of
Right.
excellence of this breed. I'm just, if I can make them, then take them and do something with it.
with it. Yeah.
It's a good mind easer as far as going out and getting your
Yeah.
mind off of other problems and working with the chickens and stuff like that.
Oh, it's
Now-
a huge de-stressor.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
just going
exactly.
out there and anything, spending time with the animals just takes the stress off.
Oh yes.
Daniel, am I right or wrong? But are you starting to plant a lot of fruit trees and stuff also?
So we did. When we got here, the first couple of years, we planted, I would call an orchard, probably about 20 different fruit trees we planted
Oh,
along the back of the
that's cool.
property. Baby orchard, whatever. Man, they take a long time to grow. So they're
When-
back there.
When
Yeah.
we sold the place in North Carolina, back then I was juicing, trying to beat the cancer,
Mhm.
and we were basically living off the land. I mean, as far as whatever we grew, we ate, and I knew exactly where it came from, all organic, if you want to call it organic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I have issues with that, but
Yeah.
Marie, I would only juice green apples, Granny Smith green
Okay.
apples,
Okay.
because less sugar, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife, Marie, I gave her $1 bill to see if she could grow a $50 bill. That didn't take. But
What's
she would take the eggs that she made me in the morning and take the shell, and she would pack it with dirt in the eggshell. She'd make the top, and then she put the apple seed
Mm-hmm.
in that. So when I sold the property to move to Florida, we had 22 apple trees.
Wow.
That's a
From
lot of
seed.
tonnage. Yeah.
And that was right
Yeah.
along the road to
Wow.
buffer off in there. I tell you what, I learned a lot doing that kind. That's why, like I said, I like your channel a lot.
Well, thank you.
And
Yes, that is.
I'm still learning. You know what I mean? As far as
Oh, so are we every day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what-
every day
what-
we're learning.
What trees do you have in there?
All right, so we started out. We kind of did the Noah's Ark thing, where you need pollinating pears. So
Yeah.
we would do like 2
Right.
apples and 2 peaches and 2
2 nectarines.
nectarines and 2 pears and then 2 plums.
And I like Oriental pears, so we
we
two
did Oriental pears. And then sometimes they wouldn't make it. So we'd be like, we'll just throw something else in there. And then maybe this one make it. So we'll throw something else in there. I couldn't tell you what we have
We have
anymore.
Granny Smith.
We got Granny
have
Smith,
pink-
Fiji,
Pink ladies, Fiji.
Right. There's some random stuff like pineapple pears. and-
Golden Delicious.
Yeah. Like if
Gold.
things don't make it, we'll just pick like, hey, that looks cool. We'll just throw it in there. So we maybe lost our pollinating pears. I don't know anymore. But we'll
Yeah.
get little ones. We're starting to get. I know we have.
Oh
a
yeah,
persimmon.
yep, you'll get babies out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to get baby ones, and the dogs love the baby apples and the baby pears. I mean,
Yeah,
the
the
baby
dogs eat the
peaches.
whole harvest.
They clear them out
Yeah.
because I mean, some of the trees are getting respectable. I'm looking out the window because they're right there. But
Yes.
yeah, some are getting 8-10 feet, but they're
Well,
going slow.
We've got a lot of
Yeah.
birds here.
A lot
We've
of
got
birds.
hawks that are just living in the trees back there. So
Yeah.
between the dogs taking the low hanging
They
fruit,
literally the low hanging
And
fruit.
I mean-
They're up on their back legs like, ooh, an apple.
when the dogs are on their back legs, they're as tall as me.
Right? Yeah. they're
you
getting
know, it's,
slow.
it's good feed for the birds too. I mean, for your roosting,
Yeah.
chickens and stuff.
Yeah,
also.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they're going to keep growing, right? I figure eventually there'll be too much food for
Yeah.
the birds to eat and the dogs to eat.
I'm looking forward to having the turkeys because we usually have pigs and we run the pigs in our big garden when we're
Yeah.
done for the
Yeah.
year and they kind of clean it out.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
can run the turkeys in there too.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right.
to get that other clean out.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one suggestion also. Look, check out a hoop house, a greenhouse.
Oh, the high
Yeah.
houses.
I've thought about that.
The high
Because-
tunnels.
Just for the money end of it. You know, the price of
Yeah.
lumber is ridiculous, and a PVC
It
pipe's
is.
pretty cheap.
Right.
You can use, and we had it back when I was putting one up. The wind, I checked the weather, make sure the weather, no wind, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so just me and Marie. I had all the hoops up. What I did was I put PVC in the ground and with
Mhm.
tees,
hmm
so I could put them into that way. Everything sort of held together. I actually, when I got done with it, I actually had a wood burning stove inside.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was big. It was 20 foot long, and
Yeah.
I think it was like 10 foot wide. Anyway, long
Okay.
story
Okay.
short,
Yeah.
But the
Trying to put
okay,
trying to put the plastic up over the top of it. And
Can't
I-
imagine.
Wow. No.
my patience are about that much.
That's got to be a nightmare. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm telling Marie, hold it. She said, I
oh, that's
am.
us.
And
Yeah.
I see her
Uh-huh.
feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
now with the Brahmas that you have, when you were getting the different types, how did it affect the eggs? What were the eggs like that you were getting?
Well, no, a Brahma lays like a medium to large egg,
Right.
and theirs are like a pale brown. Not
That's
quite
what
a,
I was wondering. How they
not
did with
quite a
that.
cream, but not quite a brown egg like you'd see in the store. But I have dark Brahmas, light Brahmas. I have buff Brahmas. I have partridge. I have a whole bunch of different variations of penciling, and they all have laid the same egg of that kind of like a creamy brown. Now
That's what I was wondering.
I
Yeah,
did
it's the
do
same.
some crosses, which were interesting.
I see the little egg thing over there.
Yeah.
I could grab it.
I
I don't know if you guys
crossed
want to see eggs.
on
We got a
purpose.
basket. I'll grab it real quick here.
I
Okay.
crossed
Okay.
one of my blue egg layers because I have a couple double E's that do blue. So I
Right.
crossed my blue egg layers with the Brahmas. And if you do a brown egg layer with the blue egg layer, you get an olive egger. So I did all of my crosses out there lay olive colored eggs,
Wow.
which is cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Just got a
wondering. How
basket
you
of
get,
eggs
'cause I
here.
know you could get the
It's like a
cream
pale
colored and all.
green.
Oh,
Those are the
look at
green
that.
ones.
Yeah, and I do have
That's
some that do
beautiful.
olive eggers.
Yeah.
But this is like a standard Brahma egg.
Right.
No,
Right.
It's a
That's
very
yeah,
I
light
knew-
brown.
I was wondering how it would affect the colors like that because I know
Yeah.
you could get the
Yeah, they
standard and then
still-
you do it with it.
And then this is another green. So
Another
they're
green
coming
one.
out green. They're laying some of the
It's
girls
the Easter eggers.
some of the girls are laying like a mint green egg from my
Mhm.
cross, and some of them are laying like almost like a army green color.
Wow.
Wow.
And this is probably yesterday.
That was yesterday.
This is just
yeah.
yesterday.
Holy.
So we
crap.
haven't gone out in about an hour. I'm going to go out and collect the eggs, but that's like a
Here's a
day.
little thing to
That's
know,
like
which I don't know if
yesterday.
you know it. So,
Yeah.
if you get a green or a blue egg and you crack it open, it's going to be green outside and inside. You could crack the shell, and the shell's still going to be green all the way through.
Right.
You
Wow.
crack
Right.
this egg
Right.
open, and this egg's going to have like this brownish cream on it, but it's going to be pure white inside.
Yeah.
Because chickens, when they lay their eggs, it's kind of like they're putting a print on it, like a little toner cartridge or print of the brown. But the green and blue ones, that was actually a genetic mutation from a virus years upon years ago that happened. So when they lay the calcium onto the egg, when they create the egg is green
All the way through.
all the way through, or it's blue all the way through.
Yeah.
And that was
Wow.
just something that happened to their DNA.
And there can be all sorts of crazy colors on it.
Some of my Easter eggers that I had before, if they would lay, sometimes you get the bloom just right. Sometimes you get the bloom just right. It looks like it's a pinkish purple, but that's not the color of the egg. That's just the bloom that they lay on top of
Cool.
it.
Very cool.
Right.
Well,
That
we're
is
getting
so cool.
we're getting down to the wire here. I just want a couple
I love
other
that stuff.
questions.
Yeah.
With YouTube, how are you standing with your subs and stuff like that? I mean, is that a main concern for you, or?
Oh no, I mean we're doing it, a lot of it for the fun, right? And I think a lot of us are. We're doing it for the fun. We just passed 1,000
We just passed
subscribers,
1,000.
which is really cool. Yeah, we're excited about that.
Watch hours wise,
We're low on watch
We're low on
hours,
watch
right?
hours,
You got to
yeah.
hit that magic, whatever 8,000 or whatever number
4,000.
it is.
4,000.
We're not anywhere near it.
Yeah.
And if you
It
get-
might as well be 50,000, but I mean,
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
That's what it
but
feels
no, I mean,
like.
people seem to like the content and we're enjoying creating it. So it works out.
we seem
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
getting a little bit more chicken people coming
Yeah,
in,
we've
and
been getting
actually
a lot of chicken lately.
at the last couple coffee talks that we've posted about chickens, people actually have specific questions about chickens,
Yeah,
which is good because I love talking chicken.
she does.
Right.
She's excited. She's enjoying the
I
channel
like
right
talking
now.
hogs too because
Right.
I do enjoy
Yeah.
raising them. I'm the type of person that before I raise something, I will read a ton of books and do a lot of research. And I'm not talking just research. I will look in scholarly
peer-reviewed
articles through veterinary medicine because I want to know what I'm getting into.
Yeah,
Plus,
sure.
I like research, but
Yeah.
I want to know if my pig looks like this. This could be a problem with it. So I
Yeah.
do a lot of research beforehand because when I get that animal, I don't want to feel like I can't 100% take care of that animal.
Right.
Well, I'm
Because
with you
I don't
100%.
want my ignorance to be the
Yep.
cause of
Yeah.
its demise.
See people talk about that. Oh, the pig died of this. Like that's treatable. That's on you.
That would be-
right?
I would feel
you're
so
responsible
guilty.
for that life.
I'm sort of in the same boat. I mean, we had dogs innocent when
Yeah.
we were younger. Not now, not when we're older.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I watch a woman here where I live walks 2 dogs and she's with a walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Mm.
not
God bless
fair.
her because I don't know how she does that.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the animal. Number one,
No.
Yeah.
you know the
Mhm.
dog's not going to the vet what it should be doing. So
Right.
I draw the line with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff like
It
that.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Oh.
just-
If you can't
Yeah.
take care of it, you shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Y'all are
Yeah, because it's not fair to that animal.
Yeah.
right.
y'all are
Okay.
like me. Before I get into something or I'm going to start it, I am going to research the living crap
Yeah.
out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mr. Google,
I
Mr. Google over there.
Dr. Google, that's
and
what your PhD's in.
There you go. But I'm also like you. I look at the scientific stuff of it as well as
Right.
the practical stuff. The practical application, and I see how it compares and contrasts, and and that's I don't have any PhD from a school, but I love one of my greatest things in is being that I think as far as my abilities is being able to do research and
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Google
I
Scholar is
totally-
a great place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just type Google Scholar and it
Yes.
takes you to Google Scholar, and then you can see all of the
Yes.
articles. But there is, obviously we're PhDs, so we believe in research, but even in business, there is the academia side,
Right.
and then there is the practical,
The
which you put
reality
into
side.
practice
Yeah.
side.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
there has to be, you have to have both sides,
Right, you
because
have a
you can't just
balance.
stand behind a desk and
Exactly.
talk about something unless
At
you
some
have.
point, you got to do it. It's always
Right.
different actually doing it. I mean, it helps to
Yeah.
know. It helps to have that knowledge, but at some point, you got to actually do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got to get your
That's-
hands dirty
No,
sometimes.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
learn so
That's-
much, but you got to get in there.
Yeah. And see,
How-
that's the end of it. Where I'm at. I mean, you can go so far with schooling, but you got to have the practical hands-on stuff.
You
Because
actually have to
sometimes,
do it.
Right. Right.
You know,
It's
with
like
the
I-
booklet,
I
like
told
we're up. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I told a professor of mine one time in college, I said, he talked about, well, in theory we have this and that. I said, you know what? In theory, anything will work.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what about practical?
Yeah.
And he looked and he said, well, he was,
Yeah.
he had never had that thrown at him.
I watch some of the cooks on YouTube and stuff like that, and the stuff they put into making one chicken, okay,
Yeah.
roasted a chicken, okay. Oh, that's all great. Well, you got to do this and make sure you put that on there,
Mhm.
okay. Do that 400 times now,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, for the
Right.
night. Get that ready for the night and do that 400 times consistently.
Right.
Right.
With that same consistent and that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Practical application is
Yeah.
number one.
Right.
My
It
number one thing
translates
to
real well.
everybody is even what we're doing as far as eat plain, eat simple.
Yeah. We're trying. We're
Don't
trying.
complicate it. Don't complicate it.
I think that's the biggest thing that I took out is don't complicate it.
Yeah.
I never hit that app again.
Right.
I was like, okay, I get it. I've done
Right.
enough research. I know when I'm not supposed to eat. So,
Yeah.
And honestly, I've right now, I feel like I'm having such an easier time with keto because at the same time going through all this, I had some blood testing done for allergies. And it turns out I can't eat wheat.
Right. She didn't even know.
I was having
Right.
shortness of breath that we thought was related to my heart failure. But it turns out when I stopped eating wheat, it went away. So I ate wheat again,
Yeah.
and it immediately came back within 5 minutes of it consuming the meat. I had to take Benadryl, and it eased up. And by the time it was out of my system, I was fine. So when I got that, I said, that really does make life easier because bread equals you can't breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I went
Yeah, I like it.
years. I went for years eating sausage, peppers, and onion sandwiches. Okay,
Yeah.
for years, cooked them the whole bit. Hot peppers, the whole bit. Blamed the sausage and blamed the peppers. It was the bread,
Yeah.
Mhm.
the heartburn and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
That's
wanted
the-
to say you guys have been an inspiration.
Yeah,
You really have.
huge
I mean, you've helped
inspiration.
Janet
Thank you.
out a lot just seeing your channels.
Mhm.
You really have
Thank you.
inspired and helped. So I
Well,
wanted to say that.
that's what everybody says to me. Well, you're a YouTuber. Are you in it for the money? Damn right I am.
Of
Okay.
course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the
Until I get the money, I ain't in it for the money.
the fight to get to the 1,000 subscribers, the fight to
He's
get to
getting the
4,000
money.
hours.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
He's getting
So-
money. I ain't getting money.
right.
if it takes a little bit to to go by, because the price of stuff for what I do is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but there again, but it's channels like you, okay, that you have and do inspire me
Yeah.
Same
Okay.
here. Same
to
here.
watch and say, wow, okay, I never thought of that, or let's try it that way. Your chili was so close to what I did and how I did it.
She was saying that. She
Yeah.
was saying that. Yeah, she was
It
saying
is,
that.
yeah.
Before we saw your video, she's like, I bet Tom's doing the same thing.
Oh, I bet Tom's Chili's is like ours.
Yeah, I bet he's doing
And
the same
when I
thing.
lived in
Yeah.
Katy, Texas, I lived in there for about 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where I learned how to
Yeah.
do it. Some
Mhm.
old boy down there told me, you don't put no damn beans
No
in
much
that chili,
beans in
boy.
there.
It's like that old commercial, beans and chili.
Hey,
So-
hey, Charlie's gonna watch. What
Oh
is- what is-
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I grew up in Chicago
Yeah.
and I always hated beans in my chili.
Right.
Like I just
She
never
didn't
liked
know
it.
she was a Texan.
I didn't. I was a Texan at heart. I used to ask my mom, can you please just take the beans out before, like, give me a bowl? And she's like, no, you don't like them, pick them out. So, I mean, I was a kid meticulously picking them beans out. I didn't want them in my chili.
Yeah, constantly doing it. The fact of the matter is that we all got together, we all met up, and I feel like I became friends,
Yeah.
and I want to keep it going. I want to keep doing stuff like this,
Yeah.
just to keep it going and help out. Hey, sometimes what we do doesn't work for other people. It just doesn't.
Right.
Right.
Okay. And I think if we just keep striding on what we're doing, it might, just to get a different take on it, the way you
Right.
think about things and stuff. So, well, with that said, Mike, you got anything for closing here? Or?
No, I was telling you, I've said this before. There's no one way to do keto.
Right.
There's just no one way. It's, you look at like Alan with Alan's Awesome Keto World, Ron's Keto Cafe, Sheena with her Ketovore, Crafty and Carnivorish with Hyla, Tom, me, and a multitude, Jason Keto, all of, and everybody else. Every one of us has a different way that we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you can take from everybody and you can formulate your own way that works for you, that makes it where it will come about. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid
right.
to play with your food.
That's my line.
You're right. He's right. That's his line. That's his line. Mine's, if it's hard, you made it hard.
Me and Mike started out together. We started out days apart from each other on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. And the loyalty just gelled. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? So we went back and forth. Or else if I didn't start it and he didn't start it, we wouldn't have known each other.
That's right.
That's my whole deal with
That's right.
as far as bringing different people up, not necessarily
Mhm.
keto, not necessarily anything, but the one thing we do have in common, we all have to eat.
Right.
Yes.
So no
Yes.
matter how we do it and no matter what, and I feed off everybody else's channels and stuff like that. So anything you guys want to add to it? You want to plug your
No, thanks for having us.
Mhm.
We really enjoyed it. It was great talking with you guys. So we
This was
enjoy
a
both
real
your
pleasure.
channels. We
We
like
do,
watching
yeah.
the videos, and we like Meg's mysteries. So we were watching her Valentine's mystery
Mhm.
today. That was a
Mhm.
surprise ending there. So I'd highly recommend that one.
I got to put
Sleep
up.
with one eye open.
Right.
I got to come up with
Oh.
some kind of sign or something that I'm in trouble or something.
Right,
like that.
right.
Right. The
Just keep
old.
doing this. Like, no one will guess. No one will guess that one.
All right, everybody. If you haven't, please, Two Doctors Homestead.
Yes.
Go check out their channel, like, subscribe. That's what this whole thing's all about. You know what? Everybody takes the time to put up videos. It's not easy, not at all.
No.
Yeah.
To get it, about your lifestyle and trying to get healthy or whatever. Give them the love. Show them the love. So, all right. With that said, I think that's wrap it up. I appreciate both of you, Mike.
Same
will
here.
be
I
seeing
appreciate
you.
it. This
Thank
has
you.
been
Appreciate
a
y'all.
genuine pleasure.